Project 11-5 covers the RPM, or Red Hat Package Manager command. Now with the advent of Yum and apt-get, where you manage your packages across the internet, the RPM command has become less used, but it's still there if you maybe have servers that don't have internet access and you have to download software onto a thumb drive or a DVD and then bring to a non-internet enabled computer. Switches for the RPM command that are common are, there's -U, probably one of the most common ones. That stands for upgrade or install the package. So if the package is not installed, it will install it. If there's a current package installed, it will upgrade it to a newer version. You also have a -F for freshen. That one is good for upgrading installed packages. And how to use it. You would go to the internet and download all of the updates that the vendor has released, put it onto a DVD drive, take it to a machine, and mount the DVD. You need to run the RPM command with the -F switch and an asterisk in the DVD directory, saying scan the DVD for all the RPMs, scan the system for installed software, and anything that needs updated, that's newer on the DVD drive, update it. Otherwise, ignore the packages. So that will not install packages into the system. It only updates existing programs on your computer. You also have a -I. That just stands for install. Typically, I don't use it. One of the areas you might use -I instead of -U is if you're installing a new kernel and you don't want the old one to be upgraded. You want two kernels to be on your system. That way, if the new kernel messes something up, you still have the old one that you can select at the grub screen to boot into. Other than that, you should pretty much always use -U. And then you have a -E for erase or remove the package. Of course, package being a piece of software or program. Now, something I always add, you always add VH to the end of any switches above. So it wouldn't just be U, it'd be UVH. And the reason for that, it creates a progress bar. So you can see if things are being installed or not. So always add VH to the end of any of the switches up above. Again, using RPM, pretty much I'd only use that on systems that I don't have internet access to. There may be a few instances where that a compiled software is not in a repository on the internet and you have to download it from a website, but it is made for your particular version of your distribution. So you could use RPMs in that instance. Now to jump and look at the commands, we'll go to the command prompt on our CentOS. Control-Alt F2, log in as root. I'm already logged in from the previous lab. We have an RPM-QA pipe less. This here just searches all of the installed software. And you can space through it. Now again, with Yum being installed on the computer, there is a Yum cheat sheet that you can just search Google for Yum cheat sheet or Yum command cheat sheet, and on the Red Hat page it shows you a listing of all available yum options. So listing individual packages here, we can do yum list installed, and that's the same thing as rpm-qa. So let's see that yum list installed. And it goes through and shows me all the packages and the versions that are installed into the system. I can use my shift page up. I could also pipe that to less, just like I did the RPM QA. Now I want to use the RPM-Q incompress and see, do we have incompress installed? Yes, we do. And then of course the alternative would be yum info incompress, and they would show us information about incompress. Now to look at RPM-QI, that's about the same thing as the info shown before with the yum command. Then we change it to a QL to list the files and where that they would be on the system. And then we use the -E to erase the program from the system. So this is where that using package management is much better than compiled software as in the previous video. We don't have any option to uninstall compiled software. So I can't do RPM-E our desktop because we didn't install it using the RPM package management system. We compiled it from source. So if I change this RPM to a Q now, it tells me the package is not installed. So now it goes on to step 8 and shows us that we could do yum search compress type less. So we're searching for the word compress because that's a program that we know that we can use for compressing files. So we hit enter, and it searches the repositories on the internet and gives us a list of anything that has the word compress in it. So as I read through here, I'm looking for compress, and I see fast compression and decompression utilities in compress. So I may also have to use Google, an actual web browser, to search what provides the compress program. So we see compress does not work. Now to install it, yum install, and we've seen incompress in that list for compression utilities, so we type the name of the package, not the name of the executable. Because the package contains both the compression and uncompression utilities. So here it comes through, shows us that it found the incompress utility and what version it is. It asks, do we want to install it? Also notice there's no extra packages that need to be installed, so I'll click yes. So it installs. RPM-Q incompress shows it is installed. I mistyped there. -Q shows us that it is installed into the system. So like I said, whenever possible, use the yum command for installing. You can also do yum remove incompress, and it will remove the software. So let me show you with the yum command. It's lowercase. Yum has several options. Like I said, the cheat sheet is normally what you'd want to run, but yum update will upgrade all software. Yum install will install new software, and then yum remove will of course remove software. So those are the main options that you would use with yum. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of other stuff for searching on that yum cheat sheet right here that I was showing you that's on the internet. So that could be printed off if you're ever using a Unix system, you know, stuck on the wall or whatever, so you can just glance over at it and see what advanced options you might need to do for yum. I also like the -y with yum so that it doesn't ask me that yes or no question at the end. It just goes ahead and does it. Useful if you're having to script something. So if I was writing a script and I didn't want to, didn't have a way to answering yes at the end, you can do the -y and it won't ask any questions. It will just do. Now we run over to Ubuntu. We start it up. And with it started, make sure my resolution here is appropriate. We'll log in as root, pass 1 2 3 4. I'll clear the screen. And this one, instead of having RPM, this is a Debian based Linux distribution. They have dpackage. So dpackage-l lists all of the installed software. So it is kind of similar to RPM. I'll hit Q to quit less and I'll clear the screen. dpackage-big L incompress tells us that the package incompress is not installed. So the little L lists all installed packages. The big L searches for a package name to see if it is installed into the system. Of course, dpackage can be used to delete stuff from the system or install. But normally on a Debian-based system, again, instead of using RPM or dpackage utility, you'll use a package manager, then go out on the internet and get stuff. In that case, Debian uses something called apt-get. It has almost all of the same syntax as yum. So you have apt-get. And apt-get has update. The update, however, updates the list of available packages. So that's different than the update in yum. All the stuff in yum automatically checks the internet for the latest list before that they are run. Upgrade. Upgrades install software. So to get yum update equivalent on a Debian system, you do apt-get update and then you do apt-get upgrade. And then you have the same options for install and remove. And you have one other option they talk about in here, purge. It also removes the configuration files on the system. So let's go back to Debian. I left one off. There is a search. I also left the there's a yum search option that we did, but the search option for apt-get is not apt-get search. It's apt-cache search, and then you would put a package name to search for. Of course, before I would run the apt-cache program, I'd run apt-get update, so I have the latest list of available packages, and then I would run the apt-cache search, the search for a program. So here, apt-get update is required to be run, It goes, downloads all of the available packages from several different servers across the internet for Ubuntu. Once the update is done, then I can do an apt cache search, compress, pipe it to less, and see I'll have a very similar output that the yum search command did. So I can scroll down and read all the packages that have the word compress in it. Quite an extensive list. Here I had to page down several times. They are not listing packages in alphabetical order from all the servers. Each server that it contacted, it got the list of packages on the server and did a listing of alphabetical. And then the next server, it listed software in alphabetical order. So there's probably about, I don't know, it looked like 10 to 20 servers that it downloaded software from, or a list of software. This here is on several servers down. So I had to page down quite a bit to see that incompress is in the list. So I hit Q to quit. And then you'll do the apt-get install incompress. It goes and downloads the software. And we check, and now it shows it that it is installed in the system, and those are the files on the system that the package installed, and their locations. And what I was saying is, using the apt-get or yum command gets you out of what is known as dependency hell. So an example of dependency hell is you trying to install stuff with RPM or dpackage. So you try to install a program. We'll just use like that RDesktop. Try to install RDesktop from, say, an RPM package, a pre-compiled one. So when you run the RPM RDesktop, it may give you an error. Needs packages 1, 2, 3 to install. Of course, that'd be, actual names of packages that you need to install. So you download 1, 2, and 3, and you try to install 1, okay. 2 needs packages 9, 10, 11. And you try to install 3. It needs packages 20. Okay, so when you install these, then we need to download and try to install 9, 10, 11, and then that package that was named 20. And when you try to install them, each one of those may require 1 or 2 other packages. And pretty soon you figure out that there's about 50 packages that need to be installed just for this one program to work. And trying to find all of those is a nightmare, and what they call, like I said, dependency hell is the word for it. So using yum or apt-get, and if you're on a SUSE Enterprise Linux system, they use something very similar to yum, and apt-get is called Zypper, Z-Y-P-P-E-R. Has the same options. You have the update, install, remove options after it, and then the package name. So doing that, it goes out and searches the server, figures out, very quickly, faster than you can search, looking at, okay, our desktop needs these packages, and each one of these packages needs sub-packages, and each one of those needs sub-packages. It finds all 50 of them within a few seconds, and then shows you on the screen, hey, install this one, you need these 50 others, is it okay? You click yes, and it does it all for you in a few minutes versus spending 4 or 5 hours trying to search for everything you need and making sure version numbers and everything match appropriately. So always use the package management, the apt-get or yum or zipper in SUSE Linux when possible. Much easier on your administrative life if you become a Unix administrator. So that's all for this week. Make sure you do the practice final, and I shall have more practice finals in the coming weeks.